Have you ever felt like you've just completely blown it?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
made a mistake so big or broken a promise so badly that you think, okay, that's it. There's no coming back.
Definitely. Whether it's, personal stuff or maybe even dropping the ball at work, that feeling of being,
Yeah.
too far gone,
Mhm.
it's heavy.
It really is. That pit in your stomach, thinking you've burned one too many bridges. We've all kind of been there, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because today we're doing a deep dive into, honestly, one of the most surprising bits of ancient scripture. It's from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 16.
Really challenging passage.
Totally. It tackles this whole feeling of failure head on, but then it reveals this mercy that just seems to defy logic.
It really does.
So our deep dive is focusing right in on Ezekiel 16, verses 53 to 63 specifically. This part, it just unveils this really profound message about how God responds when things are totally broken, when a promise, a covenant is shattered.
Yeah, completely shattered.
Our source for this is a thoughtful devotional looking at these verses, but we're going to go a bit further. We want to pull out the core insights, the history behind it, and frankly, the kind of scandalous implications.
Mm-hmm. They really can reshape how we think about faithfulness, restoration, second chances.
Exactly. So our mission today, understand how even when promises are broken, judgment is deserved, like really earned. How can this unbelievable promise of restoration and everlasting covenant still show up?
It seems impossible.
Right. What's this passage telling us about faithfulness that just doesn't quit? And, is there a path back even from the deepest failure? Let's get into it.
Okay, so to really feel the shock of this, we need this setup. Ezekiel 16, before this point, is pretty intense. God's talking straight to Israel, Jerusalem specifically.
And not holding back, I gather.
Not at all. It's a searing picture of their spiritual infidelity. The language is strong lewdness, abominations. It's framed as spiritual adultery, betraying this deep relationship God started with them.
So not just breaking rules, but breaking trust.
Precisely. They despised the first covenant, the one from their youth, which points back to the covenant at Sinai. That was foundational, based on obedience.
The Mosaic covenant.
Yes. And they'd broken their side of the deal. Walked away from that sacred oath again and again. So verse 58 says it plainly. They have to bear the penalty of your lewdness and your abominations. Judgment was fully deserved.
Okay, so they earn the consequences.
Completely. And maybe the most humiliating part, they become a byword. Remember how they used to look down on Sodom?
Yeah, the ultimate example of wickedness and judgment.
Right. Sodom was the byword in their mouths. But now, ironically, Israel's sunk so low, they're the object of scorn themselves. Verse 57 says even neighbors like Syria and the Philistines are mocking them.
Wow, their enemies are looking down on them.
Exactly. The very people they probably felt superior to. Any sense of moral high ground, gone.
Okay. Wow, so they're not just in trouble, they're disgraced. Promises broken, consequences deserved, embarrassed in front of everyone.
Yeah, total mess.
From a human standpoint, that sounds like game over, right? Cut ties, final judgment. Finished.
I think so.
So here's where it gets really interesting. Almost unbelievable. Given all that, this harsh reality they absolutely created for themselves, what's the twist? What does God say next?
This is the pivot. It flips everything on its head. Right after spelling out why they deserve judgment, verses 59 and 60 hit you with this. I will deal with you as you have done, you who have despised the oath in breaking the covenant.
Okay, sounds like judgment's coming.
Yet
There it is.
Yet I will remember my covenant with you in the days of your youth, and I will establish for you an everlasting covenant. That little word, yet, it's doing so much work there.
It's like a hinge turning the whole thing around.
Exactly. And it's not just, okay, I forgive you. It's full-on restoration, rebuilding the relationship, proactive, unearned.
It's a choice.
Absolutely. The devotional nails it. God chose love over rejection, restoration over resentment, divine faithfulness just overrides the deserved outcome.
Okay, that's already pretty stunning, but you mentioned it gets even more radical.
Oh, yeah. Verses 53 to 55.
Yeah.
This would have absolutely scandalized Israel. God promises to restore the fortunes of, wait for it, Sodom and her daughters.
Sodom? Seriously, the place destroyed by fire.
That Sodom. And Samaria and her daughters, the northern kingdom, often looked down on for idolatry. God says he'll restore their fortunes.
Okay.
And then he'll restore Israel's fortunes in their midst.
Whoa. So Israel gets restored alongside Sodom and Samaria, not first, not separate.
Exactly. Put it on the same level. Imagine hearing that. It shatters any idea of them being inherently better or having some exclusive track to restoration.
They must have been a jaw-dropper. It's like God saying, your restoration is tied up with the restoration of the very people you judged and despised.
Precisely. It reframes everything. If they aren't too far gone, then maybe, just maybe, neither are you.
So let's connect this back. What does this mean for us, when we feel like we're too far gone? This idea that God remembers a promise even when we've completely failed, despise the oath. How does that hit? Especially this everlasting covenant idea, if it includes people like Sodom and Samaria alongside Israel without them suddenly becoming perfect. What's its foundation? It sounds like it's not based on our performance at all.
You're absolutely right. This everlasting covenant isn't conditional like the old one. It's not, if you obey, then I'll bless. It's founded purely on God's own character, his unilateral commitment, his faithfulness.
Even when they were completely unfaithful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's another fascinating layer, the role of shame in all this. It comes up multiple times, verses 54, 61, 63. Israel will bear your disgrace and be ashamed of all that you've done.
Okay, so shame is still part of it. That sounds kind of negative.
Well, yes and no. It's not the kind of shame meant to just crush you or publicly humiliate you. It seems to be more of this profound internal realization.
Like seeing things clearly for the first time.
Kind of. It arises from the contrast. Seeing their own utter failure, their broken promises, their pride, right next to God's relentless, undeserved faithfulness and restoration. It's the shame that comes when you realize how wrong you were, how much you messed up, but you see it through the lens of overwhelming grace.
So it's not God shaming them, but the situation, the grace itself, revealing the truth in a way that brings humility.
Exactly. Imagine the weight of realizing that despite everything, all the betrayal, the pride God still reaches out, still restores, still loves. That kind of realization, that specific shame, it silences pride. It shuts your mouth, like verse 63 says.
Verse 63, remember and be confounded, and never open your mouth again because of your shame, when I atoned for you for all that you have done.
Atoned. What does that mean here?
That's key. Atonement here means God himself acts to cover their sin, to remove the barrier their infidelity created. He takes the initiative to make reconciliation possible. It's his action that cleans the slate, not their efforts.
So God provides the solution to the very problem they created. Yes. And that act of atonement, that covering, is what allows a relationship to be truly restored. It leads right into verse 62. I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall know that I am the Lord.
Knowing God, but differently this time.
Definitely. Not just knowing about him, but knowing him experientially. Knowing his character firsthand as the one who is faithful even when you're not. The one who remembers, restores, atones, all out of his own nature, his own love. It fundamentally changes how they see him and themselves.
So that shame, it's less about punishment and more about transformation. What really stands out to you about that? We usually think of shame as destructive. How is this shame, the remembering and being confounded kind, different from just, being let off the hook with forgiveness, but no real change?
That's a great question. Simple forgiveness might wipe the slate clean legally, but it doesn't always change the heart, does it?
Right, you could just go back to the same patterns.
Exactly. This shame, though, seems born from revelation. It's seeing the truth about yourself, your failure, your inadequacy, but seeing it illuminated by an unbelievable, unearned grace. It's not condemnation shouting at you, it's love overwhelming you.
So it breaks down pride.
Completely. You see the sheer magnitude of God's faithfulness against the backdrop of your own unfaithfulness, and there's just nothing left to say in your own defense. No excuses, you're confounded, silenced, but not crushed. Strangely, you're being restored at the same time. That's the transformation. Your identity starts shifting from rebel to recipient of unfathomable grace.
Which leads back to that everlasting covenant.
Precisely. This isn't just patching up the old broken Mosaic covenant. It's something new, an enduring commitment from God's side, grounded entirely in his faithfulness, not their performance. Yeah. It shifts the whole foundation.
From conditional to unconditional.
Exactly. It's designed to fundamentally reshape your identity and your future. The past failures aren't just ignored, they're atoned for, covered by God's action. This allows for a truly new beginning, built on the solid rock of his promise, not the shaky ground of human effort.
It really hammers home that core idea we started with, that divine love, divine faithfulness is just stronger than human failure.
It has to be, according to this passage. It shows restoration is possible, even when, by all rights, it shouldn't be. Even when the failure is profound and the consequences are fully deserved. It's about being seen at your absolute worst and still being chosen, still being restored.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, we've journeyed through Ezekiel 16 and found this picture of God who remembers promises, chooses love and restoration over rejection and resentment, even for those who completely broke their end of the deal.
Yeah, even brought themselves to total disgrace.
It's a powerful, maybe even uncomfortable picture of faithfulness that just goes beyond our usual categories. It reshapes identity through sheer, unmerited grace.
It really does.
We explore today how Ezekiel 16 gives us this really counterintuitive view on covenant. It reminds us that God's faithfulness can actually endure, even thrive, right in the middle of our worst failures. And that can lead to this radical restoration, this deep change, this new way of knowing God. It's challenging for sure, but ultimately pretty hopeful, isn't it?
It is. And, it raises a pretty important question for us to think about. If even those who despise the oath, broke the covenant totally, ended up as a byword, if they get offered an everlasting covenant, total restoration, purely through grace and atonement,
Yeah.
what does that imply about persistent faithfulness? God's faithfulness, yes, but maybe even human faithfulness in any deep relationship. What does it really look like to offer a second chance, or maybe the 100th chance, that's rooted not in what someone deserves, but in this unwavering commitment to love and bring things back together?
That's a powerful thought to sit with, isn't it? Something to really mull over. We hope you'll reflect on what this surprising picture of covenant and grace and restoration means for you. For your own understanding of faithfulness, second chances. Maybe even for receiving a kind of grace that feels almost too good to be true. What might it mean for you today, right now, to maybe receive his invitation to return, no matter how far gone you feel?